Good evening, folks, and a very warm welcome to you all. Thank you once again for joining us here on the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. My name is Tonchi Prusak. Look, it's episode 16 already this year. Tonight is episode 16, or since we started the show way back 7 years ago, it's our 166th episode. But enough of the statistics. Well, let's talk about tonight. What a big show we've got lined up tonight. A huge show, in fact. I say it all the time. I say it every week. But there truly is a lot going on in football at the moment, whether at senior level or junior level. And speaking of junior level, well, we're going to be speaking to a very, very talented junior from the region who is involved in the Emerging Socceroos Championships in Melbourne as we speak. The Emerging Matildas kicks off next week. So there's heaps of junior football happening over the school holidays. Speaking of young people, unfortunately, there is one young person who's doing it really tough at the moment, and his dad's heavily involved in the local football scene. But a local club, Deakin Ducks, is organising a charity for the youngster. We'll hear more about that later on. And one of our biggest super fans, we call him, Santino Mamone. Well, he was featured on another podcast by a gentleman called Rashid Mahazi, who's on the Suited and Booted podcast, and he runs his own YouTube channel, Lord Mahazi. And Santino featured in one of his recent vlogs, and because he's such a big fan of this show and does so much behind the scenes as far as promoting it, which you guys would not believe, we're going to feature a little bit of that as well. So what's coming up tonight? Here's a little bit of a snippet.
On that date, we do a charity round every year. This year is going to be bigger and better. We've chosen a family that Geelong Soccer knows quite well, the Bonds. Adrian, little Huxley was unfortunately diagnosed with leukemia earlier in the year.
So at North Geelong Warriors training on a cold winter's night. But in my company, we've got a young fella with a huge talent and a huge future ahead of him. North Geelong Warriors junior product, Nicholas Skorjanic, who's been selected for the under-16 Victoria team for the upcoming Emerging Socceroos. Nick, how are you? And welcome.
So, guys, today I'm going out to see Mr. Santino in Geelong. I'll tell you the full... right? 3 people had won. Now, Santino was the only one that won because of his efforts as a booter.
Your future is in your hands. There is a whole world waiting for you, and your choices determine how you will impact it. At the Gordon, we recognise this. That's why we champion hands-on learning. Get your hands dirty. Grab what's in front of you. Learn by doing. Turn your passion, your ideas, and mould them into your creations. You'll be supported the entire way. You'll grow your skills in small classes, guided by teachers who are industry experts. You'll learn in state-of-the-art facilities or out in a real-world workplace setting. Your hands-on experience will increase your understanding and put you ahead of your university peers. You'll graduate work-ready, and you'll graduate sooner, with a huge range of qualifications to choose from and support services to enable your success. Now is the time to continue your learning journey. At the Gordon, your future is in your hands.
Yes, it's time for the news desk. And before we get into the news desk proper, a few weeks ago we mentioned the fact that 14 young, talented juniors from the Geelong region have been selected for the Victorian teams at this week's Victorian Emerging or National Emerging Socceroos Championships for the boys, and next week it's going to be the Emerging Matildas for the girls up in Sydney, while the Emerging Socceroos is being held in Melbourne. Now, as we said, 14 juniors from around the region, 5 of those are girls, and 9 of them, in fact, are boys. And there's some of the girls mentioned. Michaela Witt, who's now at Calder, she's in the under-15 Victorian Blue team. 2 Galaxy girls, 2 Geelong Galaxy girls in the under-15 Victorian White team, Ava Musavi and Hannah Walsh. We've also got 2 former North Geelong Warriors girls in the under-16 Victorian White team, and they are Lucy Shimich and Anastasia Shimich, 2 sisters, and they make up the girls. With the boys, the under-15 Victorian White team consists of Richie Mann who's based at Melbourne Victory, and Nicholas Skorjanik is from the North Geelong Warriors. He's in the under-16 Victorian Blue team. Now, Nicholas is the only boy who's still in a Geelong-based club out at North Geelong Warriors. A little bit later on in the show, we will catch up with young Nick, who's done well, and he scored in his first game yesterday in a 5-0 win over Tasmania. And today, that same team drew 2-2 against New South Wales, and I do believe Nick did not play. They are supposedly rotating players around. Now, further afield, Nate Bradley, whose dad Pete is very, very heavily involved in the region here, and a former Geelong Rangers player. He's with Essendon Royals, and he's in the under-15 Victorian Blue team. And then we've got 2 boys from the region in the under-15 Victorian Silver team. Joe Davies, who's based at Melbourne Victory, and Nathan Niehaus, who had a stint at North Geelong Warriors earlier this year, but he has since moved on to Green Gully. So, speaking of North Geelong, another former North Geelong boy, Evan Horvath, who's now at Western United. He's in the under-16 Victorian Silver team. And another North Geelong product, Nicholas Didlitzer, whose father Joey is very, very well known around the region. He's also down in Melbourne. He's at the Melbourne Victory, and he's in the Victorian under-16 White team. Tyson Couchy, formerly of Geelong Soccer Club, he's at Port Melbourne now. He's also in that same team. And Luca Primarano, who's at the Western United. I believe he's also a student, if I'm not mistaken, at Western Heights College as well. So well done to all those boys and girls at the Junior National Championships, or nowadays as they are called, the Emerging Socceroos and the Emerging Matildas. And we wish them all the very, very best this week and next week. Okay, we're moving along to the weekend's results here, and North Geelong Warriors have taken a massive, massive step to returning back to the VPL 1 competition that they played in last season. A Sonny Brimmer goal in the opening 10 minutes was enough for the Warriors to defeat second-placed Eltham Redbacks 1-0 and thus open up a 5-point gap at the top of the competition standings in VPL 2. Geelong Soccer Club, what a result is this? This is a phenomenal result. They were lurking dangerously close to the relegation zone, but this win over the 5th-placed Essendon Royals, 4-1 at Cross Keys Reserve, courtesy of Giovanni Colossi scoring a hat-trick and Bruno Gervasoni scoring 1 goal. So well done to the Lions. They certainly move further and further away from the foot of the VPL 2 ladder. Geelong Galaxy unfortunately came up against the top team in VPLW around 15 at Myers Reserve and went down 7-0. Now, this weekend there's no games in the Victorian Premier League 2 competition. It's a catch-up round. So the next fixtures will be in 2 weeks' time. On Saturday, July the 19th. In fact, that will be round 22. The Warriors will be home against 11th place Werribee City, and Geelong, who are in 10th position, will come up against the Goulburn Valley Suns, who are 5th. And the Goulburn Valley Suns will have to make a long trip from Shepparton all the way to Geelong. Why does it say Cross Keys Reserve? That was last round. And in the women will be in action this Sunday when they take on Eltham Redbacks. It's going to be a case of 10th versus 9th. At Myers Reserve. Kickoff there is at 3:30 p.m. So good luck to Geelong Galaxy. A win will see them jump over the Eltham Redbacks. Now, in Men's State League, we had, once again, usual story, mixed bag of results. We saw some good results, some not so good results, and some fair results, let's call it that. Westgate took on Karaya, and Vedran Stojanovic, the prodigal son, is back, and immediately he has scored a goal for Karaya against his old club. Coincidentally, Westgate, it was 1-1, and a pretty good result that for Karaya up at Ardea Reserve. Geelong Rangers scored a goal through Christopher Galley, but wasn't enough at home against Williamstown, and the visitors ran out 2-1 winners. Surf Coast travelled to 2 Plenty Valley Lions, and a lone John Pikett goal was enough to ensure the Coasters secured the 3 points and maintained their 6-point gap between Surf Coast, who are in second, and Sunbury, who are in third. And with Altona North dropping points against Hoppers Crossing, Brenton Ray's team, who's always watching this show, that meant that Surf Coast now find themselves just 1 point behind Altona North, with 8 rounds to go. Now in State League 4, Bell Park came up against Lara United on Friday night, and Tristan McGrath scored for Lara, and Mia Marinovic scored for Bell Park, but then it was left up for Nick Nugent, who scored with a late-minute goal, and I think we've got some footage of that. Have a look at this goal from a set piece. Gosh, absolute pandemonium reigned supreme. Apologies about the blurry. Look, that was taken from social media, from Bell Park's social media page. Bell Park maintain within striking distance of the top place team in State League 4. They're only 2 points behind, but the good thing is they've got a game in hand as well, so against second last place Melbourne City. So Bell Park are poised to jump into top spot probably after the next catch-up round. Deakin Ducks at home against Balmoral FC. Now popped out to this game, and at one stage Deakin Ducks were up 2-1, then they drew 2-2, went down 3-2, drew 3-3, and then conceded 4 goals in about the last 15 minutes. And unfortunately for the Ducks, Balmoral ran out convincing 7-3 winners. Sam Wyeth, Luke Dull, and Isaga Kalimbi scoring for the Ducks. Point Cook played host to Barwon, and it was a very depleted Barwon, as we heard last week when we had Gerard Whelan, the assistant coach, on the show. And Point Cook ran out 4-1 winners. Nathan Nidzwed. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Sorry, Nathan. Apologies there. But that was, what should we call him, Nathan N. He was the only scorer for Barwon there. David Finetta, the prolific sharpshooter for Ocean Grove, he scored the only goal of the game against ETA Buffalo Club, and ensured that Ocean Grove took all the points there. All right, turning our attention to this weekend's round 15. Karaya at home to 6th place Ballarat City. Geelong Rangers, who are in 11th position, are at home to 5th placed Albion Rovers at Myers Reserve at 3 p.m. A lot of games at home this weekend. It's one of those weekends where there's probably too many home games in Geelong to try and get around to, but in other weekends, like last weekend, there was not that many. Surf Coast, this is going to be a crucial game. Second place Surf Coast coming up against third place Sunbury United at Banyule Warrior Reserve. A win here will give them a buffer of 9 points over Sunbury United. No doubt whoever the team is in fourth place, they'll probably jump into third. But if Surf Coast loses, their lead is slashed to just 3 points. So it's a must-win game, a do-or-die game it's not a do-or-die game. Let's call it how it is. But it is indeed a very, very important game, without a shadow of a doubt. And we certainly need the Coasters performing at their optimum in this game. Banyule Warrior Reserve, 5 p.m. this Saturday evening. In State League 4, on Friday night, Lara United are at home to Point Cook, 10th versus 5th, and that game kicking off at 8:30 p.m. And in another one of the local derbies in State League 4, Deakin Ducks play host to the high-flying Bell Park. Bell Park can ill afford to drop any points. The Deakin Ducks, they're kind of in a mid-table position at the moment, but it's so close that they will need a win. Once again, apologies about the incorrect. It's not Bell Park Sports Club. It's the Deakin University Warren Ponds campus. Barnstoneworth United, who are in 6th place, play host to 9th place Barwon FC, and that is at JT Grey Reserve at 3 p.m. And Ocean Grove, who are in 3rd, taking on 5th place Truganina in 5th position. Where are we now? We've also got the women's competition as well, the Women's State League. That's the only thing remaining. And on the weekend, North Geelong Warriors came up against Clifton Hill at Quarries Park Reserve in Clifton Hill and went down 2-4 to the 2nd place Clifton Hill. Katerina Arbanas, only 15-year-old girl who's based from Werribee, scored her maiden goal. So congratulations to the teenager. Tiana Mahalik also scored for the Warriors. And that should be... The graphics this week is all over the shop. I apologise. It was a 4-2 win to Clifton Hill, not to the Warriors. The Warriors this week, they've got a chance to leapfrog 5th place Caroline Springs George Cross when they host George Cross at Alco Park this Saturday, and that game kicking off at 3 p.m. Rightio, that is the end of the news desk, and apologies about all the gremlins. It has been an absolutely crazy week, a really, really busy week. And weekend trying to get the show happening, so much going on. We're going to take a very short break, and when we return, we're going to have our first guest of the evening. And I went out to Deacon's Duck Pond on Saturday evening and caught up with Troy Harrison and a very special guest as well, coming up straight after this break, folks. Don't go away. It's the Geelong Region Soccer Show you are watching. Just Turfing Instant Turf is a local, family-owned and operated company which guarantees top-quality products and service. Whether you need turf for a small front garden or a large landscaping project, Just Turfing Instant Turf are the turf installer experts you can trust. They supply and install for most major landscapers in Melbourne and Geelong, with a wide range of premium instant turf and a full suite of turf care products. Chloe and the team at Just Turfing are sure to have all your turf needs covered. Their Melbourne, Geelong and Victorian regional distribution means they can supply your area with fresh cut turf installed the same day, hassle-free. Turf options that are available include Eureka Kikuyu, Santa Ana, Tiff Tuff, Sir Walter Buffalo and Sir Grange. For more information, contact either Chloe on 0431 571 558 or Josh on 0457 174 111.
Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast, and with me here today we've got Troy Harrison from the Deakin Ducks. Troy, we're catching up with you after Saturday's game against Balmoral. Not the result the boys wanted. I think 6-3 in the end loss, but lots of goals, particularly in the second half.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't the result the boys were after, but from the sidelines, mate, entertaining game. You know, Balmoral up near the top of the ladder, great team. We held their own. It was 3-3 at one stage, but we just couldn't go with them at the end, unfortunately. They scored a few late and, took the win. But, great to watch from the sidelines, certainly.
Now, it's been a bit of an inconsistent year this year. Some really good performances early on, then a little bit of a kind of a lull, and then it's sort of like just seems to be up and down. But I guess that's the nature of State League 4, isn't it? It's a tough competition, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%, mate. It's a big step up. And the main thing this year has been the consistency from the boys. We've been in a lot of games, but a lot of teams have a lot of quality up top, and we're conceding goals and we're not getting the points that maybe we think we deserve. But that's life in a new league. We'll adapt and hopefully they'll finish the season off strongly.
Yeah. Now, fantastic facilities here. For those that have never been down here, it is an absolutely fantastic establishment. Probably one of the better facilities I'd say in State 4, wouldn't it be?
It is. Well, we think the ground's nice, mate. We'd like some pitch side change rooms and maybe a fixed canteen. But we dare to dream one day, mate. The ground and the facilities are quite good. We can't complain at all, mate.
Now, there's a pretty decent crowd on today. Pretty big crowd. Now, we're hoping for an even bigger crowd on Saturday, the August the 16th, because it's going to be a very, very special occasion. It's a local derby game against Lara United, but there's something else that Deakin Ducks are organising on that day. Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, on that date, we do a charity round every year. This year is going to be bigger and better. We've chosen a family that Geelong Soccer knows quite well, the Bonds. Adrian, little Huxley was unfortunately diagnosed with leukemia earlier in the year. So it's been a tough year as a club. You know, sometimes there's things bigger than football, and we wanted to get together and try and do something really special for a special family. So, we've got the day, August 16, derby against Lara, who've been fantastic organising. They've got on board as well. We'll have a pitch side function. We've got custom kits, custom beanies that Conquer have organised for us. So, yeah, it should be a great day, mate.
Yeah, and right behind us is where it's going to be happening, just pitch side on the day. Fantastic facilities. It's a great little room there. And anyone who wants to come along, and we're urging not just Deakin supporters and Lara supporters, but we're really, really urging the Geelong football community to come out in force on the day. Make an effort. As you said, there's going to be, I think, 100, did you say, kits that are going to be on sale?
Yeah, so we've got 100 kits and 150 beanies, which have been generously donated through Conquer, who've been a massive help to us with the beanies. The kits have all been donated from some of our sponsors, Thriftway Furniture and Beds Are Us. So 100% of the funds, kits are $60, beanies are $30. 100% of that will go straight into the GoFundMe to help an amazing family.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's great to see, as you mentioned, in this period when internationally football has suffered a real tragedy with Jota, Diego Jota being killed in a car accident. And I was just watching earlier today a clip about how Liverpool and Everton fans coming together in Liverpool, and that's what football is all about. It is
100%.
able to really, really unite different people, different communities, and on August the 16th, we'd love to see the Geelong football community come together for this fantastic cause.
Yeah, man, it should be a great day if you've got nothing on. Whether you're from the two clubs playing or Ocean Grove, where Bondi currently plays, or I think he's played at Surf Coast. Futsal Geelong he's involved with, so he's touched a lot of people in Geelong. So, yeah, if you've got nothing to do that day, come down, support. It should be a really good day.
And some of the sponsors, let's mention some of the sponsors as well. That you know them off the top of your head.
So the sponsors that have donated the kits are Thriftway Furniture and Beds Are Us. They're a major sponsor.
Well.
Conquer have donated the beanies. So without that sort of support, the day wouldn't be possible. So we're very, very thankful to have some amazing people on board.
Troy, on behalf of, I think, the Geelong football community, I can say thank you, congratulations to Deakin for organising this. We really, really appreciate it. I think it's a fantastic effort. And now it's up to the rest of the people in the Geelong football community to come out in droves on August the 16th on Saturday, around about 2 p.m. here.
August 16th, correct. Should be a great day, Tonchi.
Good on you.
Cheers.
Thanks. Well, we've heard from Troy Harrison from Deakin Ducks what's happening on August the 16th, but now we've got a very, very special guest, Huxley's dad, someone very well known to the football community, and he's making a return to the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast, Adrian Bond. Adrian, how are you?
Good, thanks, Tom. How are you, mate?
Now, we heard from Troy. He said, August the 16th, it's going to be a big day for Huxley. How is the little fella doing?
Yeah, he's in hospital at the moment, but he's battling on, and overall, his treatment's going really well. He's had some good results. Leukemia numbers are dropping. So, unfortunately, he's had a real big chemo therapy kind of phase. So, blood levels are a bit down. So, they need to just closely monitor him. A common cold can be life-threatening, essentially. So, he's just in there at the moment with the hopes of coming back home to Geelong end of next week. So
now the football community around Geelong has really rallied around you and your family. And it's great to see the GoFundMe page as well. It is amazing. And look, I can't possibly imagine what your family's going through. But how are they handling it all?
It's up and down. Like, obviously these times when we have to be in hospital for long stints can be really difficult. But, my Huxley's mum, my ex-wife, I think we do a good job of kind of trying to help each other out so we can both be there for Hux when he needs us, and tag teaming for care and things like that. It's a bit tough, but the GoFund has been amazing. The support from Geelong community, like not just soccer, but the whole town essentially. Like, random people, I see a name pop up that donated. And I'm like, who's that? And it's been really amazing to see the support, and we're just so appreciative of it all as well.
Well, sometimes we have our negatives, and there are many negatives, but we also have our positives, and I'd like to think that the Geelong football community, we might be small, but we're a close-knit, and we always are there to support each other. Mate, here's an opportunity just to say a message to the Geelong football community out there, and to get as many people as we possibly can to come here to Deakin on Saturday, August the 16th.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a fantastic round, a great day and a great cause. Really thankful for Deakin, a lot of the old boys I used to play with, and, good mates that I've got for life. So it'd be good to come down, support them, support Huxley, and Lara are playing as well. So it's going to be a tough game, and a really good game to watch. There's always good rivalry matches between the two teams. So come down and support the boys, and just get around the clubs and the cause for the day.
Hi, I'm Joe Gergich,
And I'm Helena Fentella.
and welcome to our family here at Harcourts.
Pitch side here at North Geelong Warriors, training on a cold winter's night. But in my company, we've got a young fella with a huge talent and a huge future ahead of him. North Geelong Warriors junior product, Nicholas Gorjanic, who's been selected for the under-16 Victoria team for the upcoming Emerging Socceroos. Nick, how are you? And welcome to the Geelong Region Soccer Show.
No, thanks for having me. It's really good to be here.
Yeah. Now, selected for Victoria at this week's Emerging Socceroos Championships in Melbourne. How does it feel?
Yeah, look, it feels really good to be selected to such a high quality team, you could say. And representing Victoria, it's no small thing, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity.
They mention it's no small thing, but put it into perspective. Now, there are nine boys from the Geelong region that have been selected, and I think 5 girls in total as well. So 14 kids from the region. That's amazing. Well done to the Geelong region yet again. But you're the only boy that is still at a Geelong-based club, at North Geelong Warriors. The rest have moved on to clubs down in Melbourne or Western United. Does that make it extra special, the fact that you have been selected, have been recognised, even though you're outside of the so-called academy system?
Yep. Yeah, of course it makes it extra special as well, showing who we are as people from Geelong. We work hard for what we want, and making it extra special coming from North Geelong, a club that I've played at since since a junior, pretty much, since when I started. And
well, that was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your soccer journey. You said you started at North Geelong. How old was it when you first started playing, and who were some of your early coaches? Can you remember?
Yeah, so I started playing soccer when I was about 5 in under 7s, I remember. A couple of the coaches I had along the way include Goran Skoko, Rob Biskin, Joey Didalitza, and just to name a few. But those people from the start really have given me a good platform for the player that I am today.
Any of those coaches in particular sort of really influence you? And in what way?
Yeah, so Joey Didalitza for me was the big one. He was the one that really helped me to bridge stepping stones into the fundamentals and player that I've come out to be, and just lessons along the way that he really I suppose dug into me, that that I suppose, like I said, made me into the player that I am today.
Fundamentals, what a word. Articulate young fella. I love to hear that. That's well done. The selection process for Victoria, what did it involve? And tell us about some of the stages and how you felt at each stage.
Yeah, so it consisted of about 4 trials along 6 weeks, and so we started off with a 2-day trial camp, you could say, over about 2 hours.
Was it
In the
pretty
trials-
full on then at that stage? What, like, was it, like the trials that you had then? You're coming up against kids from all over, I guess, Melbourne and Geelong. Was the intensity pretty full on, or was the intensity really much more pronounced later on in the later stages?
Yeah, limited spots, of course. So, you know, high intensity, high quality, and a lot of fight to get into the team. So, you know, from the start, you had to be really on your toes and expecting the hits, I suppose. And you know, it's never easy, of course. You know, trying to get a spot in the Victorian squad, and yeah.
At what point did you sort of feel, I've got this? I've got a real good chance of being selected?
Yeah, so it came at a funny time, really. You know, slowly progressing through each stage in the trials and understanding. You know, I put in a couple of good performances, but I thought, you know, maybe it wasn't enough. But I think making that final trial, which was which really gave me a lot of confidence, I believe, into getting selected, and there was you know, just after the last trial and feeling I had a really solid performance, yeah, just made me feel really confident.
Now, you're a pretty quiet fella by nature, I'm told, but you know, did you find as the whole selection process progressed, you were discovering things about your own character? Were you sort of, you know, toughening up? Were you gaining in confidence? Were you starting to kind of break out of that comfort zone, I suppose?
Oh, 100%, you know, over the way. You know, you have to learn to connect with different people, and you know, I thought I was good at doing that, and you know, limited. You know, as fewer as more people get cut, you have to learn to adapt to different situations, and yeah, you know, that's what I thought I was good at doing, and therefore it was you know, making me feel in a comfortable environment when going to the trials.
Yeah.
What
was the level of support you're getting, say, from your parents, from coaches here at North Geelong, teammates, school buddies, and all of that kind of stuff? Is there people making sort of like little jokes, or you know, kind of making fun, or there's genuine levels of support that really kind of fueled your own kind of confidence?
Oh, 100%. You know, I got heaps of support from my parents, family, friends,
and that's important, isn't it?
Yeah, very. And of course, at school, your mates, you know, they joke around and try and have a good laugh. But,
where would you be without your mates? Huh?
Exactly. But no, altogether, it's you know, these people have been with me every step of the way, and I couldn't thank them enough. And just want to thank them, you know, for getting me along this journey, I suppose.
Yeah, let's talk about who here's a chance to openly thank some of those coaches or parents or friends, whatever. Go for your life. Who would you like to thank?
Of course, I got to thank my parents, mum and dad. Of course, my brother Lucas. I thank you very much. I'm so very grateful for your support, and you know, coming home from trainings on those long nights, those long drives home, especially, and you know, being able to vent to you is really important for me, and I thank you so very much.
Yeah. Now, we talk about representative football. You've already had one experience, and mind you, that was at international level. 2 years ago, you were selected for an Australian-Croatian under-14 team to go to a tournament in Croatia in the city of Vukovar. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, so there was about a group of 16 boys, Australian-Croatian boys, that got selected to go to Vukovar in Croatia and play a tournament, a representative team for Australia. And we played 3 group matches. Unfortunately got knocked out, but most importantly it was you know, learning about how they play over there.
And how do they play compared to, say, here in Australia?
Oh, look, the intensity's up there. You know, it's to another level, really. It's
what about the physicality?
Oh yeah, you could say it's life or death over there.
Really? Yeah. You hear often that is the case, that it's so much more than just, say, a sport, a recreation. What about the skill level, the technical side of things? Because they often say Australian footballers are not as technically adept as, say, in Europe. Is that sort of something that was the case, or was it more the case the physicality took over in Croatia?
Oh, look, a bit of both. You know, I think you know, their technical aspects, they're training, you know, multiple hours a day, as compared to Australia here. But you see the differences in quality and small things like touch, passing, shooting, and it's just like it's an unmatched level to Australia, I suppose.
In your eyes, how, and now that you've been exposed to state level representative training and that sort of stuff, in your eyes, how, if at all possible, how can we replicate that on the training track here, for example, at the Leisure Time Centre in Little Geelong?
Oh, look, I mean, going to state trainings and such compared to North trainings, there's more of a sense of a fight and wanting to be there on your own regard and playing for yourself and showing attitude in a football sense and
and that's a really important. Sorry to cut you off. Attitude in the football sense, as opposed to attitude in the behavioural sense, if you like. That's really important. That white line, you cross that white line. It's that white line fever, and you leave literally everything on the park, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Behavioural issues as well is also important. Respecting your coaches, and you can always joke around and have a good time off the pitch with your teammates. It's also important to build team chemistry and such. But once, like you said, once you cross the white line, it's very important to have your game face on. Yeah.
Great words of advice there for any budding young footballer listening to this interview. Now, mate, who are your idols? I'm sure there's going to be some under 7 and under 9 kids around the region down at North Geelong, possibly looking up to you and wanting to be like Nicholas Skorjanic one day. But who are your idols, and who do you try and kind of replicate your own football on the field? Based on, I don't know, who you've seen either locally or nationally or internationally?
Oh, look, I mean, for me, Cristiano Ronaldo is a big one, not only as a footballer, but more so how he goes about the game mentally and what he does off the field to, perfect his game on the field.
Yeah, and, almost like an obsession, isn't it? You have to be like that to get to that level, don't you?
Yeah, you really do, I suppose. And, also another one for me would be a local legend like Matthew Sporanovic coming out of North Geelong, and even Joey Diddlitz, Josip Skorko, these club legends that have really paved the way for us young Australian Croatian footballers.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? So it doesn't necessarily have to be an idol, on the other side of the world. It can be someone that you actually see and locally, and gee, you've had enough of those at North Geelong, haven't you? And finally, what would you like to say to some of the younger fans watching this, like the mini roos all around the region? What's your words of advice to them?
Oh, look, I think it's important to have an obsession and a relationship with the ball. It's the little things like going outside, having a little kick, perfecting your touch, but most importantly, enjoying it and enjoying what you do. To make sure that you're having fun on Sundays and having fun winning, losing, whatever it may be. But just making sure that you're improving every time you step on the field and, having fun.
Some great words of advice there, folks, for any budding young footballer tuning into this episode of the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Speaking of which, we're going to take a very, very short break. And thank you once again, Nicholas. Good luck for everything at the tournament this week.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Good on you.
The world is yours. So work hard, and you can have whatever it is you want.
Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast, and thank you once again for joining us. Now, how good was that interview there, that last little interview where it with Nicholas Skorjanic, and where he says, and I've quoted it in the comments section, have an obsession with the ball. That is absolutely brilliant. Having that obsession with the ball, having a relationship with the ball as well. Yeah. Now, what he says there is absolutely just magnificent, and it really, really makes a lot of sense there. We're going to now have a little bit of a break, and if we can actually find it, I don't think we can. That little, we're going to have to play that little video clip actually on another time. And I do apologise to Santino. We'll be playing that straight after the show. Very, very special. It goes for about 2-3 minutes, and it's a preview of the Lord Mahazi vlog on his own channel. Former Melbourne Victory player Rashid Mahazi, and he played. It was a great little. I guess what would you call it? Actually, we'll try and find it now if we can. We'll definitely be able to find it here. Do bear with me. And here we go.
So, guys, today I'm going out to see Mr. Santino in Geelong. I'll tell you the full booted, right? 3 people had won. Now, Santino was the only one that won because of his efforts as a booter. So basically, he's been liking everything, following everything since day one. He's just like an OG booter. He signs up to everything.
Yeah, so if you do want to watch that entire episode, go over to Lord Mahazi's YouTube channel, and you'll see the episode. I think 1,100 people have already viewed that. That finishes tonight's episode. Apologies, there's quite a few little gremlins. It's school holidays, so it's absolutely nuts at this time of year, no doubt. But we hope you enjoyed tonight's show. It is a little bit of a shortened show this week, but we'll be back again next Monday night at 8 p.m. with a lot more football coming your way as well. Get out to one of the games if you can this weekend. I know there's some pretty poor weather happening the rest of this week, but hopefully on the weekend we're going to have some good weather. Thank you once again for joining us on the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Until next week, next Monday night, have a great week, folks. Bye-bye.